So I want to make sure that we're looking at, when it comes to percents, it's one of those things we see all the time, but most people don't have any idea how to do with it. We're going to talk in class later of how to estimate, how to figure it out without a phone, without a calculator. Let's see the best we can do. All right, but when it comes to an actual problem, can we actually use an equation and kind of see, like, hey, what can I do? And one of the things that's going to help is just words that mean things. All right, so if I hear the word what, I mean, the whole idea of what is going to be a question. Like, what is your name? What is today? What are we going to do? What makes Mr. Hyde so much better than Miss Aiello? I mean, just questions like that that pop into our minds that are just that. The what is a question. It's the unknown. All right, so this is going to be our variable. All right, this is what we do not know. This is what we're trying to figure out. What percent? What is? Anything like that is going to be our variable. Think of my name is Mr. Hyde. Aiello is short. All right, so when you look at those kind of things, you're saying that Aiello equals short. All right, so is going to be another way for math that is going to mean equal. All right, so if you see the word is, it means equal. And it makes sense if you think about the English language. My name is Mr. Hyde. Name equals Mr. Hyde. And that's what we're looking for. Of is a little bit different. We've talked about it before. I'm sure some of you are already thinking it, already writing it down. But when you see the word of, a lot of times it's going to mean multiply. It doesn't mean that we're going to multiply. It just means when we set it up, it's going to mean multiply. And we're going to use that and then use the algebra skills to kind of figure it out. So those are three words. And again, I'll say that of doesn't always mean multiply. It's just if it's going to mean something mathematically, it's probably going to mean multiply. So let's bring it down here now. Let's get the idea of write an equation for the situation below and let's solve it. So we'll say what is 35% of 125? So we start seeing some of these words again. So what? So what means our variable is equal 35%, right? So I'm going to say this a bunch of times. We never use a percent in a problem. We never use the actual percent in the problem. We always switch it to a decimal or a fraction. All right, so if you're getting kind of confused, remember 35%. Here's my decimal point. I want to make it smaller. I'm going to go once, twice. So 35% is equal to 0.35 or 0.35. So I'm not going to use 35%. I'm going to say 0.35 of multiply times 125. All right. And so this is where we can use a calculator. 0.35 times 0.25. All right. All right. And I get 43.75. X equals 43.75. I say always check it twice in your calculator because you always do something weird. I'm on video, so of course I'm looking at something weird. I got it twice. So this is going to be my answer. Now ask yourself that question. Does that sound about right? Well, 50% of 125 would be about 60 something. So the fact of being 35, a little lower than 60, makes sense. All right. All right. So let's look at this one. All right. 180 is what percent of 2,000? 180 is just 180. Is equals what? Again, that's going to be that X. Our answer is going to be a percent, so it helps us to know that what's our percent going to be. It's going to be a percent of 2,000. All right, so 180 is what percent of 2,000? So this time it's not just a plug in the calculator problem. It's an actual problem of I need to get X by itself. So is X by itself? It becomes just an equation. So is X by itself? No, it's being multiplied by 2,000. So what's the opposite? So I can divide both sides by 2,000. And then see what I get. 180 divided by 2,000. I'm going to see what I get. Put it in the calculator. And I get X equal to 0.09. All right. Now the question is that my answer? And it's no, this is a decimal. I want to switch it to a percent, so I'm going to move it over twice, and I'm going to get 9% as my answer. So 180 is 9% of 2,000. That should make sense. So press pause, try to see on your own, and see what happens. All right, so let's now look at C. All right, we're going to change this again, move it once, twice. So 0.263 of times what variable is 312.6. So again, we have a variable by itself, and I know some of you are like, you're making fun of me again. You know what? I don't care. Leave me alone. I don't like you. Anyway, the idea here is I want to get x by itself. So what happens is I have to divide by 0.263. And this is why in the middle school, we're at the point where we're using calculators. I don't want you to waste your time of doing 312.6 divided by 0.263 in your head. That's just something that I think is not beyond us, but it's just a waste of our time at this point. All right, so we're just going to divide it real quick, and we're going to get x equal to 1188.59316. So it's nothing exact. All right, so I told you before, if there's nothing that says anything, go to one decimal place. So we're going to say that x is equal to 1188.6, and that's going to be the answer. So 26.3% of 1188 is 312.6. All right, so we'll practice a couple times, and you'll see another option later on, or you've probably already seen it. But you'll see two options. Here's one of the options, the way to solve it, how to set it up. All right, sounds good. We'll probably switch soon.